It's like kind of like become like a spiritual kind of like religious kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Like you got specific locks like look away. You even name some of them. Some have personality and stuff.
One or two things that people would not think about the full experience of having dreadlocks.
Okay, one, they're not dirty. Whoever tells you they're dirty is a fucking liar and doesn't know what they're talking about. They're actually the most high maintenance like hairstyle you could probably get as like a black person in general. It's just like you're dealing with so much. You like, even though you're not supposed to wash your hair, but like once to twice a month because that's what strengthens your hair. You're not really supposed to wash your hair, but like once every 2 weeks anyways,
right?
Because like if you keep doing that, like washing your hair every day, it thins out, which is a huge thing that like it's a huge misconception about hair in general. But yeah, dreadlocks are not dirty. You literally cannot lock your hair if your dreadlocks are dirty, period. It just won't work. It'll get really gunky, your hair will fall out, it will thin out, it will look disgusting. You will never be able to grow your hair again. Second thing that's a misconception is they're not that fun. They're not that fun to have. They're like basically because of like the maintenance. Yeah, they're like everywhere. They're heavy.
I was gonna ask.
Oh man, they're so heavy.
Yours goes what, mid back?
Yeah, mine goes almost like to my butt now. But yeah, it's
especially once it gets wet. I could only imagine. It's just yank your neck back, right?
Oh yeah, it's like literally just stuck like this, and like you just feel like you have 5 pounds on your neck. You're like, oh. You gotta wring it out when you dry it too. It's like a whole process.
Right.
Yeah, so like they're heavy as hell. They are not fun to have.
How long have you been growing them?
I've been growing mine for it's 2020, about 7-8 years.
So we know they're high maintenance. They're not fun. They're heavy. I'm sure they're hot. So what makes it something that you keep and something? Is that just become you?
Yeah, pretty much. It's so crazy. Like specifically as a black person who has locks. It's like kind of like become like a spiritual kind of like religious kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Like you got specific locks like look away. You even name some of them. Some have personality and stuff. And so like even after like it's like when you make it through the ugly stages of having locks, then like there's like a solid year where they're just going ugly. They just look terrible. If you get through that whole year to the point where like, they're about shoulder length, they look really good, every time you get them done, you can do stuff to them, like, you'll just fall in love with them with no matter how, like, how much of a pain it is to, like, take care of them.
I feel everything you just said there's a big similarity to beards. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest I've gone is about nipple length, mm-hmm. But I mean, that's still like a foot of shit coming off your face. But it's that same thing. Like you got to get past a little bit past here is going to get itchy, and then it's going to get a little bit curly. But as long as you could kind of maintain it, and once it comes down, it's like you said, it's kind of just like almost a spiritual like this is me.
Yeah.
If you didn't have dreadlocks, what would you go? Would you go full on shave? Would you go fade?
I'd probably go with either a high top fade or I'd either go with the high top fade. Maybe full afro or like go between like braids and like twists and like afro, like kind of like what Smino does. Like he goes between the braids, he wears it out, and then he has like twists sometimes. That was like what I was kind of doing originally. So if I didn't have locks, I'd probably go back to doing that if I didn't do the high top fade.
Gotcha. To me, like once I realized how far back this was going, and I was like, oh well, I could kind of grow it and kind of just. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you got to learn. I'm sure, like you said, I washed my hair way too much. I wore hats and then, plus hereditary and everything else. You're like, oh, I'm just going to admit defeat. I'm not going to be trying to do some comb over shit into my 40s and everything. But just get rid of it.